And we're on. Welcome to another episode, Timeless Personal Growth and Development. My name is Logan. Today, talking about anxiety. Yes, talking about anxiety again. I've done a few videos on anxiety. I think it's important because I think we have a tendency to maybe misdefine what anxiety is. And I get frustrated sometimes when I hear about it because you can't escape hearing about it, because it just seems like anxiety is like everywhere. Every person seems to be anxious or have some sort of anxiety about something. Whether it's social anxiety, whether anxiety about themselves, anxiety, it's everywhere. And it's always talked about. And you don't usually see now a very non-anxious person. There's someone who's not dealing with something in their lives. It's friggin' everywhere. Well, to start off, there's no such thing as a completely flawless person. Everybody has something going on that they have dealt with in their life or they're currently dealing with. Me included. For me, I would say a certain degree of social anxiety when I was younger. Still do to a certain degree, but I've developed very good coping skills and coping mechanisms to be able to push through it. And I've done a past video a few months ago about talking about how your social skills are everything in your life. If you want to have a good, happy, successful life and build a good empire for yourself, you have to have great social skills. People that want to create a good business, they have the good networking skills. To have the good networking skills, you got to be able to socialize. You got to be able to connect with people. People that have really poor social skills or don't get out of there and challenge their social skills or work to improve their social skills become very isolated, become very lonely, and affects their quality of life. In terms of anxiety, we misdefine what anxiety is. And I have a tendency to sometimes downplay it a little bit. Downplay the anxiety. Well, I'm just stressed. It's not anxiety. I'm just stressed out, and my mentality all the time is power through. Well, I haven't ran into a situation yet that I have not been able to power through yet. So, well, my strategy seems to be working, so I'm going to keep doing it, right? So whatever strategy you have, if it's working for you, keep doing it. Don't stop. But we're so quick to go diagnose ourselves with anxiety or depression and then get put on medication. And there's not a lot of diving into this. There's not a lot of investigation. There's not a lot of diving into the problem and actually solving the problem, because that's a lot harder. It takes a lot more work. We want a quick fix, so we want a band-aid on our anxiety, so we just, alright, take these anxiety meds. But what are those anxiety meds really doing for you? Other than maybe stabilizing your mood or mellowing you out, but it doesn't solve the problem. Back 13, 14 years ago, I was put on antidepressant meds. Did I need it? No. There wasn't a lot of talking, there wasn't a lot of investigation, digging deep, and nobody really asked me a lot of questions of like why I needed to do it. Oh, you're depressed. Okay, yeah, just take this pill. Well, of course, doctors are just going to say that. They're not going to ask a lot of questions and give you a pill so pharmaceutical companies can make more pills and make more money, right? It's all for big pharma, right? To make more money, of course. But is it really solving the problem? No, it's not. I was put on those meds, but I was on those meds for about 3-4 months, and what did that do for me? it just kind of mellowed me out. And I wasn't really miserable anymore, but I wasn't really happy either. It's kind of like you're going on autopilot. Like, the lights are on, but nobody's home. So you're not experiencing emotions. And that's what these pills are made to do. It's to level you out. You don't feel you don't feel those low lows anymore, but you also don't feel those high highs. So when you have something really great or something really wonderful that happens in your life, you don't experience the great emotions. You don't experience that rush of chemicals from it. You're not motivated to go out and actually push yourself and challenge yourself and to improve yourself. What's the best therapy for depression, anxiety? Get in the gym, go exercise. Get that flood of chemicals to get those endorphins going into your brain. And that's your therapy. That's your medication. And another part I want to mention about anxiety is, and this I think is a crucial part that people really make a mistake, is you need to reframe how you think about anxiety. You need to reframe it. Anxiety is not part of your personality. It doesn't define who you are. It's something that you are prone to. You're prone to anxiety. Oh, I don't suffer from depression. I don't suffer from anxiety. No, you're prone to it. You are prone to it based on your thought process, the way you think about things, the way you process information in your world, the way the world stimulates you, and the way you process that information and the way you think about things is what causes you to be prone to anxiety. Reframe your thinking, and you're going to see the anxiety is going to level out a little bit. And they're going to tell you right now that it has worked for me. Reframing the way you think about anxiety, and you won't think about it the exact same way anymore. Because if you're going to look at every little experience, every little challenge in your life, and look at it with the mindset of, well, the glass is half full, or the glass is half empty, which one? If you're going to look at it through every experience, whether it's negative or positive, you're going to look at it through a pessimistic mindset, you're going to be more prone to anxiety. When you meet someone, you're dating and you meet someone great and wonderful, and if your mindset and you're happy, awesome, things are going great, but a little part of your brain, a little part of your thought process is telling you this is not going to last. Eventually they will leave me. Eventually they will cheat on me. Well, that voice telling you that's an indicator that there's something wrong. There's something wrong because your brain is creating a very false sense of reality. I mean, are they treating you badly? Are they cheating on you? Do they have any intention on leaving based on their actions and their words? No, things are going great. Not actually looking at reality of what actually happened. You're creating your own reality based on your past experiences, and that has created a thought process in your head, which is going to dictate your behavior. And your behavior becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that causes those worries and those thoughts of anxiety, which is actually going to cause it to occur. And it just creates a whole new cycle again. It just reconfirms that thought process. You see, I told you they would leave me. I told you they would cheat on me. I told you this would happen. Because it always does. Does it? Or are you creating a false sense of reality in your head, which is dictating your own behavior, which is causing to push that person away? I'm using dating as an example, but it can be, well, that's a big one. A lot of people have anxiety. A lot of people have issues with dating, but it can be related to anything. I ran into a few situations in the last month that in the past caused great stress and great anxiety. And I had to push myself into these situations that I've been in before, which caused great stress and anxiety before. And I had to push myself into it. And it didn't cause as much stress and anxiety because it reframed the way I think. Building up to it, going into these situations beforehand, I had to fight that programming, I had to fight that thinking and not listen to it and understand that I was just creating a false sense of reality. And once I actually got into that situation, once I got into that environment, I realized, oh wow, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. Because I just created a false sense of reality of what it's actually like. And that's what anxiety is, and that's exactly what it does to you. And you gotta ask yourself your question. Oh, I'm anxious. Well, why are you anxious? What are the factors? What are the environmental stimulants that cause anxiety? Or it's social anxiety? Okay, ask yourself what creates an anxiety. Don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. And that's the biggest issue that so many people do. Oh, this situation, this environment causes me anxiety. So I'm going to avoid that. Is that helping you? Is that improving your life? Is that improving the quality of your life? Is that improving the happiness of your life? Because you're not going to overcome anything by avoiding it. Push yourself into it. Push yourself into it. Not hard, not all the way. Because it creates anxiety to the point where you shut down. Okay, you're not going to push yourself completely. Little steps, one at a time. And rethink the way you think about anxiety, because it's not. And don't think of anxiety as stress as the same thing either. Don't do that. Stress and anxiety are two different things. Stress is, well, you want to reframe how you think about stress. You can't avoid stress. Stress is always going to be here. We're human beings. Welcome to the world, right? You're not going to avoid stress. Ever. Don't try to avoid it. And stress is very useful. If we use it properly and use it effectively and use it in the right way and reframe our thinking about stress, it can really improve our lives and help us. Because guess what? You can't avoid it. And you can actually use stress to battle anxiety. Because you're going to be stressed going into an anxious situation. Use that stress, reframe your thinking, push yourself into it by little incremental steps, and I used this analogy of a box before. If you have a box, and that box is everything that little box is everything that you're anxious about. It causes anxiety, so that box is really big. You push yourself slowly, reframe the thinking, and only focused on get out of your head and only focus on what's going on in front of you. And stop overthinking everything. Push yourself little by little into the things that make you anxious. Push yourself forward and don't avoid it. And you'll realize, oh, these things don't make me as anxious as they used to be. Oh, wow, look how that works, right? Wow. So that box of everything that made you anxious, what happens? It gets smaller and smaller. So you're not as anxious, you don't feel as much stress on the things that used to create anxiety. Don't use meds, don't use pills if you can avoid it as much as possible. But sometimes stress and anxiety can be so great, but we actually need to do the work on yourself. Don't use it as a cover-up, don't use it as a band-aid. Actually push yourself into the situations that make you anxious and work to improve yourself. And don't avoid it, because if you avoid it, nothing improves. If you're going to avoid every little thing that gets you anxious and that gets you stressed, guess what? Life is stressful sometimes. You got to deal with it. How do you deal with it? Reframe that thinking, because that thinking is number one and is going to change everything. If you reframe how you think about anxiety, it's going to change the anxiety completely and stop letting it run your life. It doesn't define you. It's not who you are. It's just something you are prone to. Do what you need to do to improve yourself. And you'll see over time, it'll get better and better. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do me a big favor, like and subscribe. Help me build this channel. And I'll be doing this week I'll be doing Alpha Dad Mindset episode 9. And I'll be talking about how to be the dad you never had. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.